22 weeks ago. We started off in my car. And so if you have been following us up, you will realize that it has been a long time of us doing these. And so the weather became nasty. I ended up taking them back into my house. And I've done these episodes from different locations, from my living room, from my bedroom, from corridors and things like that. And today I'm super grateful and super blessed to know that the weather is stunning, is changing again, and we are beginning to go into the summer. We're almost getting into the summer saving time, and that means that I can come back to you guys from the comfort of my car rather than doing this from the house. So this is Claire. If you're new here, we're good to have you. Welcome on board. I am the founder, privileged to be the founder of this channel. And what I basically do is talk about nutrition. And you guys have continued to support what we do. And I'm always forever indebted and grateful. Today is not a different day. We're going to be doing something else on soul care. So welcome aboard. Fasten your seatbelts and let's go. I've been thinking about the differences between reflection and rumination. What made me think about reflection and rumination? I am attending a course at the moment at my workplace. And this course, there's a lady who was actually talking about reflection and rumination. And I thought, oh my goodness, what are you talking about? Because in my mind, I've always known, I tell my students, we need to do reflection. I tell my students the importance and the significance of reflection. And I thought in my mind, I always do reflection. I've never realized there is something else that you can actually do that is called rumination. And so today we will be looking at the difference between reflection and rumination. Have you ever done something, if you're like me, the moment you do a mistake or you mess up or you do something that you don't like, you will spend days, months, potentially years beating yourself up, cursing yourself, wondering why did I do this? I thought I'm a better human being. I thought I'm good at this. I thought I can do this better. And then you get to a point where you get stuck into shame, you get stuck into condemnation, you get stuck into that place where you find it so difficult to get out of that situation. That's what we call rumination, where you start thinking about your mistakes, you start thinking about your faults, and then you start defining yourself by the mistakes, defining yourself by the faults, defining yourself by the things you have or you haven't done. That's what I refer to as rumination. If I do a mistake, for example, and I'm dwelling on that mistake, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 1 week down the line, I haven't let go and I'm kind of getting into condemnation. And I can see some of you live with me. Good to have you live with me. Thank you so much for catching up with us. And I get to that point where I can't forgive myself. I can't let go of the situation. I'm actually doing lots of rumination. And as I mentioned before, rumination leads us into condemning ourselves, leads us into feeling shame, fear. We end up feeling unworthy. We end up feeling like we don't deserve, we don't belong, we are not good enough, and all those kind of feelings. But if you are reflecting, hi Mateos, if you're reflecting, reflection is different. Today, I was talking earlier on to one of the counselors at my place of work, and she's saying to me, reflection is where you see what you have done, you think about your mistake, you think about what you did and what you didn't like about what you did, and then you tell yourself, Claire, you have done A, B, C, D. You've screwed up, so to say, right? What can you learn from what you did? Use what you did yesterday to inform you today to make better decisions tomorrow. That is reflection, right? Where you're telling yourself, I messed up. I had a fight with my husband or my wife or my child. And it's simply because I took things out of proportion or I was emotional or I did ABCD. What did I do? A friend of mine sent me some picture the other day that was talking about the things that we can control versus the things that we can't control. I can control my reactions. I can control my emotions. I can control my feelings. I can control my behaviors, but I can't control what other people think about me. Hi, Benjamin, I can see you. I cannot control other people's behaviors, attitudes, feelings, and everything towards me. And so when I know the difference, when I've made a mistake, I sit myself down and have a conversation with Claire and say, hey, Claire, you're not perfect. Let's face it. I wish I could come on this live stream and say, hey, guys, I live a perfect life. I am not perfect at all. I'm human, right? When I've made a mistake, when I'm reflecting on it, I'll think about it and say, Claire, you did A, B, C, D, because maybe you might want to excuse it, but you take full responsibility. You sit down, you reflect on that mistake, and then you say, okay, how can I make this better going forward? Making it better might mean, okay, next week, trying to seek to understand before wanting to be understood, right? I will seek to know, why did my husband answer me that way? Why did my child behave in that way? What did I do to contribute to this? And what can I do to make this better? That's reflection, right? And then you will think of tomorrow, if I get in a similar situation, how can I maybe potentially prevent it from happening again? But if it was to happen again, what can I do better? But rumination will be, oh, my world, my life sucks. I'm not good. I'm good for nothing. I can never make good decisions. I can never be a good mom. I can never be a good wife. I can never be a good employee. Who says that? Because you allow those things to become your point of reference. You begin to condemn yourself. You begin to shame yourself. And for those of us who are Christians, we know what the Bible says about us. There is therefore no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus, right? Romans 8:1. Why are you allowing yourself to sit in shame, to sit in condemnation, to sit in judgment against yourself, judging yourself so harshly? Let's face it, the world is already judging us. The world is already, there's so much against us in so many different places. So why are you your own enemy? Why are you sitting down to condemn yourself? Why are you sitting down to judge yourself so harshly? I'm not saying don't take responsibility. Take responsibility. If you've messed up, come on, go and say sorry. If you've done something silly, take responsibility. And sometimes there might be consequences, right? There might be relationships that will have to end. There might be relationships that might have to face some struggles and things like that. There might be punishment sometimes, but learn from it, learn from that issue, learn from that situation. And that's where reflection is. And for me, how do I reflect? I do a lot of journaling. I'll sit down with myself. I call myself into a meeting and say, hey, Claire, come sit down with me. And we will sit down and think about those things. Think about this situation. For example, I have had a quarrel with my husband. I don't know what I'm saying today. My husband, he's not going to watch this, so it's fine. I can talk about him. I didn't say that. I've had a quarrel with my husband. I will sit down and think, what was it about, right? What made this come and become an issue, right? And then I think, what did I do in this situation to let things get out of control? And then I will write down and think about, what were my actions? What were my thoughts? What were my behaviors? And consequences, because sometimes the consequences might be we're not talking to each other for maybe days. And then from there, I think about, okay, what are the actions now? How am I going to make this better? I'll go and say, sorry, I'm so sorry. I let things run out of my control and blah, 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 right? We reconcile. And then I'll think about that. How am I going to make this better so that tomorrow we will not be in a similar situation? Claire, that's reflection. Whereas it is, if it's rumination, you'll sit down and thinking, I'm a good for nothing wife. Why did I even get married to this man? What a horrible human being he is. What a horrendous relationship I have. My marriage is a mess. Everything about me is a mess. I can't amount to anything good. And then you start carrying that with you and it starts playing back to you. It becomes like part of your reputation. You start your reputation revolving around it and things like that. So today, guys, I'm encouraging you to say, let's learn to reflect, but not to ruminate. Let's learn to let go. If you mess up, it's okay, right? Say sorry, learn from that mistake, move on, but don't be your worst critic. Some of us, we are our worst enemies. We treat ourselves worse than even the worst enemy can treat us. And you need to love yourself. You need to think about, I love, the other day I was talking to my mentor and she told me, Claire, I love to give you a prescription. I was like, what do you mean? She said, yes, I'm going to give you a prescription. I said, oh, go ahead. I'm listening. And she said, my prescription for you is Philippians 4:8. Again, another Bible reference verse for you. And it just talks about the things that are good, the things that are of good report, the things that are reputable, the things that are lovely, the things that are wholesome. If there be any thoughts, think about these things, right? She's saying to me, instead of ruminating on the worst case scenarios, going into your future, you worrying, robbing yourself of your future and the joy of the future because of the worries of the mistakes of yesterday, why not turn it around and say, yes, I made a mistake. As I said, we're not running away from reality. We are accepting, taking responsibility, becoming self-aware, and then doing something about that, deciding like, yes, I have made this mistake, but this is not going to define me. I will learn from it and I will move on. So rather than ruminating on my mistakes, I can ruminate on the things that are true. Is it true that I'm a horrible wife? No. Even if I miss today, even if I do a mistake today, it doesn't make me a horrible mother. What is the truth? The truth is that I'm a child of God. The truth is that I'm loved. The truth is that I am beautiful. I'm whole. I'm healed. Even in my brokenness, I can still see healing, right? I may be wounded today, but I can heal. I can rise up. I may fall. Proverbs says that in 26. The righteous fall 7 times, but they rise up again, right? I may be down today, but I'm not out of the race yet. Don't disqualify me because I refuse to disqualify myself through ruminating and thinking about things that do not add value to me, that do not add more grace to me, that rather end up making me feeling rubbish about myself, right? So today I thought, after thinking earlier on, what am I going to talk about? And I thought about reflection and rumination. And I met this lady at work, and she started talking to me about rumination and rumination and reflection. I thought, that's a confirmation. I need to talk about it. Hasn't it been lovely catching up with you guys? It's a Wednesday, which means I have Bible study in a couple of minutes' time. Thank you for making time to be here with me. If you haven't done that already, why not just click on that like button, share, subscribe. It'll go a long way in supporting what you do. And those of you who have joined a little bit later, listen to this. I'm just talking about how you can overcome things that make your soul sick, and you allow your soul to heal. You allow your soul to prosper. That's the whole point of this channel, right? I say I base my life on 3 John 2:1 that says, beloved, I desire above everything else that your soul may prosper and be in good health, even as being good health even as your soul prospers, something along the way. I'm forgetting that. I shouldn't. And so it's my desire that we will prosper, there's the word, and be in good health even as our souls prosper. So I will leave you guys with that. That's my parting shot. Go prosper and be in good health even as your soul prospers. And one of the way you can do that for me in these coming weeks is allow yourself to reflect and don't ruminate. If you have to ruminate, take the prescription that I was given by mentor, Philippians 4:8. Ruminate on things that are true, things that are lovely, things that are reputable, things that have a good report. And until next time, my prayer for you is that you will prosper and be in a good health, even as your soul prospers. Know that you're loved, celebrated, and appreciated. Have a great evening. Much love from me. Mwah. God bless and take care. Until next time, have a great evening. Goodbye.